Hi, this is Craig Malsom with my e-portfolio for AEP 879. And there's my table of contents page. My name, Craig Malsom again. My wife, Stacy, and I have two children. Tyler's 9 and Annabella's 7. I'm currently a part-time teacher and part-time athletic director with Trigo Community Schools. I have a master's in special education and am finishing up my building leadership endorsement here in December. This practicum class has made me look at many of the decisions that I make on a daily basis, and it's made me evaluate myself a little more in depth. I feel being aware of the ISTIC standards is a good way to reflect on decision making. Philosophy statement: I believe to be an effective building leader, it is important to make decisions with integrity and remain fair and consistent to the school and community. It is important to reflect and evaluate the school and environment regularly, and most importantly, evaluate yourself. Major objective for the class: one of the major objectives I'm focused on is doing anything we can as a district to foster school spirit and involvement by our student body to give them opportunities to experience success. I'll start going through my activities here. First one was parents only night at the grade school. I was going for my two kids. It's just an opportunity to meet with kids' teachers right at the beginning of the year and hear what's expected from them and what the kids are going to be doing throughout the school year, get an idea of what your kids are talking about when they get home. My intent with this was listening to not only my kids' teachers talk, but a few of the other teachers as well, and try to hear it from an administrator's perspective. And a few of the things I noticed was basically who was prepared and who wasn't prepared, and some of the things that they were saying, you could tell were problems they'd had in the past, and they were doing things to correct those or make themselves better. The next activity is sports calendars. It's something we do every year, like many schools. And right at the beginning of the school year, I took the calendars out to all the businesses around town to thank them for everything they do for the school. And I quickly figured out the first few businesses I went to, they were assuming that I was there to sell something just because that's what they're used to, and it really made me realize how much we rely on businesses, and we need to do a better job of showing them that we appreciate them. And that's a picture of the calendar. Activity 3, McREL evaluation tool. I have a 2-day in-service on the evaluation tool that our district has implemented. It was a long 2 days, but can see the benefits of this. I have a better understanding of what is going to be expected with this tool, and now that we've done it, it's not as bad as it seemed like it may be. From an administrator's perspective, it's going to be a very time-consuming process for the principals and something they're going to really need to manage and not get behind on. And talking to our principals, they have spent a lot of time on it, but I don't think as bad as they thought it was going to be either. Meet the Eagles. This is just an evening where the community is invited for a hot dog feed and hear from all our coaches and sponsors and what they're expecting with their activity or sport. One of our organizations, our K Club, organized the event, but I was there to oversee what they were doing and help with things they needed. It was a good way for me to warm up and get going on what was going to be expected of me this year. It was a good event. I had to speak a few times, and that's not something that's fun for anybody to have to do in front of a big crowd, but it's something we all have to get used to doing as principals, so it's a good experience. Next, Activity 5, host sporting events the first week of school in the fall. When activities started, we hosted tennis, volleyball, football, junior high football, volleyball, all in the first week. So 4 of the 5 days we had something going on, so it's just I really got my feet wet quick, and as far as having to set things up, get officials and workers, hospitality rooms, anything that came up. It was a good way to get the year started. I was glad I was able to get so many things done right away and not just have to worry about them for weeks at a time. Activity 6, crisis plan meeting. A group of administrators and teachers that met with law enforcement to discuss and plan procedures we use in various emergency situations. The group, under the direction of law enforcement, was able to come up with a good plan to implement during crisis situation, and since that time we've practiced many of these procedures. Activity 7 IEP meeting. Had an IEP meeting for a student with several service providers present. The meeting went well. They will put together a solid plan for the kid for the remainder of his senior year. I've been a part of several IEP meetings, but at this one I just really tried to sit back and think about what I would add to the meeting as an administrator. I've been a part of meetings where the administrator sits there and acts like they're annoyed to be there, which is annoying as a teacher, and also been at ones where I had a good principal who really gets involved and makes the kid feel important. The school board meeting, attended the monthly board of education meeting, was asked to start giving an activities report at the following meeting. I'm glad that I got the opportunity to do this. I was nervous about it going into it, but something that will get easier over time. And there's some minutes from the board meeting. High school walkthroughs, went with our principal while he was doing walkthroughs and observed the process. After I observed him a few times, he had me take the iPad and do a couple of them. It's a very simple process, but something that's good to see before it's time to do it for real. Site council meeting. I'm part of the site council starting this year. It's just a group of parents, students, principal, and a couple of teachers that meet a few times a year to discuss things that we can do to improve our school. The main topic of discussion at this meeting was ways to motivate some of our students who are chronic on the ineligible list. And there's minutes from that meeting. Classroom instruction that works. We had a 3-day in-service on it. This was the 3rd day of it. New techniques to use in the classroom. There's a lot of good things discussed at this, but the biggest thing was that homework came up and how it should and shouldn't be used, and our principal was very vocal about it and stepped on a lot of toes, but it was good conversation to have. It's just something, he just pointed out how busy and how much is expected of all our kids, especially our better kids, how many things they're involved in, and we need to all keep that in mind, basically. But it was good to see him step up and let people know what he thought and basically what was expected of him. League scheduling meeting is a meeting specifically for football schedules, but also other sports as well. Met with other leagues to get schedules filled. It's a very fast-paced meeting day. I felt a lot of pressure to do what was best for our students and schedule as well as I could. It was very political. I've always been very into sports and things like that, so I figured, going to meetings like this, talking about sports would be a lot of fun, but it's not. It's very political. You got to make contacts with people to make sure you do what's best for your kids. Active shooter training, we had afternoon where everyone in the district met with law enforcement. They went through some scenarios, showed us what would be happening in the classrooms, in the hallways, things like that, if there was an active shooter in the building. Obtaining workers for events. This is a culmination of several different events. And it was one of the things I figured out this year is how difficult it is to rely on so many people when you're trying to fill workers for events. You got, for example, the home volleyball meet triangular for the high school. You need 10 people to work. You're always asking the same people over and over, and it can be very frustrating. But fortunately, we've got enough people that will step up and help. Activity 15, fire drill. Our principal led me through the process of conducting a fire drill in our building. It was a great experience for me. It's something that seems simple when you talk about it, but it's not near as simple as it seems. There's several steps involved, things you have to do, and as a new administrator, this would be something that you wouldn't think about until it was time to do it, and then you wouldn't know what to do. So that was good information to have. And there's a picture of the fire system, alarm system in our building. I gave an activities report at the board meeting in October. This was my first experience presenting to the board. It's a good experience. I was very nervous, but it all turned out well. It can be a very intimidating group of people to talk to, but they asked good questions and it went well. And something I'll continue to do and get more comfortable with. And there's the board minutes with my report in it. Grade school IEP meeting. Attended an IEP meeting at the grade school. I was not the official LEA, but that was the perspective I went in with. I've been part of several IEP meetings at the high school, but this first one at the grade school is very interesting to see the differences between high school and elementary meetings and how involved the principal was and how supportive he was of everybody involved. I did some walkthroughs with our principal at the grade school. Again, it was a different perspective than at the high school. It was good to see. The biggest thing I noticed with him was how interested the kids were that he walked in the room, wanted to visit with him, wanted to talk to him, wanted to be noticed, all those kinds of things. and he was very, very good at being nice to them, greeting them, but making sure that he kept them focused on what they were supposed to be doing. Active 19 hosted league volleyball. There's 10 teams in attendance, responsible for everything for the day. Basically, Fish was hospitality, getting teams what they needed. A lot of putting out fires during that day. It was a very long day. Things went very well, but it's very, very surprising how much goes into hosting something like this. That nobody really knows what's going on. The only way they're going to know is if something goes wrong. So, but it was a good day, good experience. Self-evaluating service. We had an afternoon to work on our self-evaluations for our McCurl evaluations. I had mine done because I was kind of one of the guinea pigs for the principal to do the evaluations on, so I was able to help other people and help them navigate the program. It's a good chance to help people with something that they are frustrated with and help them understand it isn't that bad once you figure it out, which is a big part of being an administrator. There's my self-eval form. Drug dogs. We had a drug dog at the high school for an evening, and the handler took the dog around, checked all the lockers. Fortunately, there were no hits. He did plant something in a locker and show us what it looked like when he did hit. This is something we're going to continue to do. It's more deterrent than trying to catch somebody. It was interesting to watch, though. Parent-teacher conferences, SLPs. We started using student learning plans throughout our building. They're a plan for each student in our building as a tool to help them build a resume by the time they graduate. It was a tough, the administrative side of it is a tough sell for them, which is what I was watching. It's just one more thing for the teachers to have to do, and our principal did a good job of simplifying the process as much as possible to get everyone on board. Lunch supervision, again, something pretty simple, but something our principal does every day. He was out of the building, so I filled in for him. It's a simple task. It's like being a substitute in a classroom. Kids are going to push and see what they can get away with. There's kids in the gym during lunch playing basketball. Community Appreciation Day. This is one of my favorite days of the year. Students go in groups with a staff member and do jobs around the community, such as raking leaves or cleaning gutters. It was a good day. I was able to be more involved with the organizing of the event just because I was curious on that side of it. Again, a lot goes into it. Our counselor does a great job with this, but it's a very busy time for her, and she does a good job with it. One of our new teachers this year said this was he's been in education for 20 years, and he said this is one of the coolest things he's ever done since being in education. Acacia area admin meeting, attended the Acacia administration meeting and had a chance to listen to things going on at the state level. It was another opportunity to make contacts and get to know people. It's an important part of administration, something I'll have to continue to improve on, not being afraid to ask questions to other people and ask for help. A lot of good resources out there, just got to make sure we use them. And there's the attendance card for that meeting. Exploration stage reflection. I felt coming into this class I would not get much out of it because a lot of it was going to be things that I anticipated doing on a daily basis anyway. I felt it would be busy work more than anything, just add time to an already busy schedule. Explanation stage. What I found to be the case with this class was that several of the things were things I would do anyway, but this class made me reflect more on how I handled what I was doing. I think reflection and self-evaluation are very important parts of administration, and that is what I ended up doing. I also ended up doing activities at the elementary level, which I would have not been doing, and that is a different perspective than what I am used to. I also ended up in very good conversations with our administrators that were taking place because of the activities for the practicum class, which has been the most beneficial part to me, I think. Conjecture stage. I'm serving in a part-time administrative role going into this class, therefore this class is not going to offer me things that I am not already doing. Having the opportunity to do these activities and then consider which is the standard at best fit with allowed me to think and reflect more in turn to help me make decisions with more confidence. Synthesis stage. The standards are a very useful tool for an administrator. They are useful in making an administrator more conscious of what they are doing and make competent decisions for all involved. I will continue to use these standards for reflection purposes in my day-to-day activities. And here's my annotated bibliography articles. Pretty good articles, and here is my summative evaluation form that's signed by our principal, Myron Flax. And this concludes my e-portfolio presentation.